several blocks in the city of San Jose, resides an observer and sensationalist known as El Uno.
El Uno.
Now, the following are narrative written records or reports. In other words, chronicles. Now, these chronicles include personal experiences, emotions, or elements as basic as thoughts.
Of course.
And being that all these were in some way written during, involved, or inspired by the evening, they are all of the eve.
Of the night.
From the various sounds in the night air, to the streetlight's reflection on the pavement. And now some might say El Uno's nocturnal.
He's nocturnal.
Now whether or not that's true, these chronicles are just merely an interpretation of what I see at night. What goes through my mind at nights. A personal portrait of the evening. And for the sake of the 7-8 sensei
saga,
the 7th and 8th senses, both experience and emotion are portrayed, but only in cooperation with CancerEye for cancerous music.
CancerEye.
Thus we have the Chronicles of Eve. They're playing a game every day, but not your ordinary game. They're unseen, man. And whether you like it or not, they're going on every day, and they're playing with you behind the scenes. So watch it. There's 101 games to play. As much as one wrong move can make a fool out of you. There's 101 games to play, and if you plan to get ahead, you've got to play by the rules. There's 101 games to play. As much as one wrong move can make a fool out of you. There's 101 games to play. And if you plan to get ahead, you've got to play by the rules. When I was young, my concept of games was cards and dice. Never thought twice to read between the lines of what people said and did. Playing with my mind was the last thing I expected from adults, naive to the extent of their control. Little did I know, these games involved me in the middle of it all. Tripping all the while like you tell me. Plus they've got me doing just what they want. Easy, manipulated. I was subject to get played because I didn't know the rules. Nonetheless that I was playing in the first place. But still, this was just a taste of what? Of what's yet to come when I get older. Now I see that there's just as many games, if not more. Only now they're keeping score, so who you figure's gonna win? Them. Whomever has the most points in the end, no coincidence. Mastered all the rules to the social games of life. There's 101 games to play. As much as one wrong move can make a fool out of you. There's 101 games to play. And if you plan to get ahead, you've got to play by the rules. There's 101 games to play. As much as one wrong move can make a fool out of you. There's 101 games to play. And if you plan to get ahead, you've got to play by the rules. Now this is what I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis as a witness to these stupid human tricks, and often on the job. When the boss wants you to jump, you answer how high, and sometimes mother may I. Whichever he prefers is the appropriate answer, gets you one step closer to the good list. But keep it hush-hush, there's other ears in the office, and they're listening more than you imagine. Granted, almost every game has a different ringleader, so the rules may vary depending on whom they were set by. When dealing with females, it usually helps a lot. More times than not, sincerity takes the hike, so those who play by the rules get to play. And for that very same reason is why it's labeled game. So every time it's getting run, the rule maker's getting ran. This you better understand before you partake. There's 101 games to play. As much as one wrong move can make a fool out of you. There's 101 games to play. And if you plan to get ahead, you've got to play by the rules. There's 101 games to play. As much as one wrong move can make a fool out of you. There's 101 games to play. And if you plan to get ahead, you've got to play by the rules. There's 101 games to play. There's 101 games to play. There's 101 games to play. And if you're planning to participate, you gotta know the rules. You've gotta know the rules. Gotta know it. For your sake. Think about it. take, my friend? You've gotta know the rules. Forgiven, not forgotten. As I look back and remember all the incidents of those who betrayed my trust, no matter how hard I try, I just can't forget what they did. And it haunts me still to this very day. But for the sake of both of us, I found it in my heart to forgive. Plenty of times people hurt me in the past, and I knew they did me wrong when it happened. And although I can't quite forget your action, can't forget. Next time we meet, keep in mind that you're forgiven. Plenty of times people hurt me in the past, and I know they did me wrong when it happened. And although I can't quite forget your action, can't forget. Next time we meet, keep in mind that you're forgiven. I recall when it seemed innocent at first. Quickly it got worse, so instead of getting better, I grew bitter. I know that vengeance isn't healthy for the soul, but in my mind I'm knowing well that what she's doing can't be right. Of course they made it seem all good, but if the outcome doesn't match, I have to question her intentions, which now becomes a question of integrity. To me it's just a matter of simple courtesy. I had more than enough questions with so few honest answers that the bottom line reads disrespect. And disrespected I was, nothing less. But most of all misled by the only one I trusted at the time. This left me broken and confused. Could you imagine where this brought me to? You know, sometimes I wonder if they realized the damage that they did. I guess until we meet again. Plenty of times people hurt me in the past, and I know they did me wrong when it happened. And although I can't quite forget your action, can't forget. Next time we meet, keep in mind that you're forgiven. Plenty of times people hurt me in the past, and I know they did me wrong when it happened. And although I can't quite forget your action, can't forget. Next time we meet, keep in mind that you're forgiven. Now at the time it made me terribly sad and even mad. I was shaken by the fact that I was set up to be let down. Plus I felt like I've been had, but what I had was enough. So when the time came, I felt it opportune to hold a grudge, and for months at a time I'd walk around with this on my shoulders, getting heavier. But the burden was mine, you see, the very same thoughts I think imprisoned me. So this is when I noticed it was all my choice, which means I had to say goodbye to what I could not quite yet forget. And all the scars that the incidents had left. To keep what happened in the past, just that. Plus I'm willing to forgive, so it only takes your will and I to make the wrongs right. And since I know I'm not the only one to hurt from this girl, it's important that you know that there's no hard feelings. Plenty of times people hurt me in the past, and I know they did me wrong when it happened. And although I can't quite forget your action, can't forget. Next time we meet, keep in mind that you're forgiven. Plenty of times people hurt me in the past, and I know they did me wrong when it happened. And although I can't quite forget your action, can't forget. Next time we meet, keep in mind that you're forgiven. Plenty of times people hurt me in the past, and I know they did me wrong when it happened. And although I can't quite forget your action, can't forget. Next time we meet, keep in mind that you're forgiven. Plenty of times people hurt me in the past, and I know they did me wrong when it happened. And although I can't quite forget your action, can't forget. Next time we meet, keep in mind that you're forgiven. Forgiven, not forgotten, all my friends and foes. Forgiven, not forgotten, them all. Forgiven, not forgotten, all my friends and foes. But still I can't forget what happened. Forgiven, not forgotten, all my friends and foes. Forgiven, not forgotten, them all. Forgiven, not forgotten, all my friends and foes. But still I can't forget what happened. Cause we all know it's best to forgive and forget, but sometimes it's not so easy to forget. And I must say, all the scars burn in my heart still to this very day. and I'm still torn between a twist of irony. And as I wait for the scars to heal, I realize what I need to do, and that's to let go. For the sake of setting both of us free, you're forgiven, and even if your actions aren't forgotten. When my wheels hit the road, and unfortunately, man, of course, Popo's on patrol. My wheels roll right through a stop sign, and out here it's known as the California Roll. I picked up this habit when my wheels hit the road. Unfortunately, man, of course, Popo's on patrol. I said my wheels roll right through a stop sign, and out here it's known as the California Roll. Keys in the ignition, drop the brakes so I can put it in drive. These three for the residential streets, but of course, I'm not going more than 50, keep in mind a little something from Tommy Tomas. Roundabout my wheels go all throughout San Ho until eventually I hit North Capitol and Moorbrook. Make a left on Berryessa, so of course I'm headed west. And now there's plenty of stop signs ahead. Not to mention all these officers who love to give tickets, especially the young bloods like me. Teach me a lesson, so to speak, and you can ask Coan. He got a ticket for the pettiest of crimes. I'm just surprised it wasn't I. You see, I never had the patience for these stop signs. But I'm doing alright, I keep one eye on the road and the other on the rear view mirror tonight. I picked up this habit when my wheels hit the road, and unfortunately, man, of course, Popo's on patrol. My wheels roll right through a stop sign, and out here it's known as the California Roll. I picked up this habit when my wheels hit the road. Unfortunately, man, of course, Popo's on patrol. My wheels roll right through a stop sign, and out here it's known as the California Roll. Of course, much of what I learned in driver's ed had been forgotten. I'm surrounded by a number of distractions. The least of my concerns is a proper stop. I got my window rolled down and zapping Roger in the deck. Headed only now to where the night's taking me, so the only thing I see are other cars and city lights. Summer nights are on my mind. I'm caught up in the moment when my wheels hit the streets, so I rarely hit the brakes like I should, thinking of these signs as suggestions. You see, my judgment serves me fine, no question, so believe it. And ain't nobody saw, so I'm only breaking the law if I get caught, right? No harm done, I'm just saving myself some time in the long run. So I take it easy now, cause it's all under control, but you know I'll never break this little habit of mine. I picked up this habit when my wheels hit the road, and unfortunately, man, of course, Popo's on patrol. My wheels roll right through a stop sign, and out here it's known as a California Roll. I picked up this habit when my wheels hit the road, and unfortunately, man, of course, Popo's on patrol. My wheels roll right through a stop sign, and out here it's known as a California Roll. I picked up this habit when my wheels hit the road. Unfortunately, man, of course, Popo's on patrol. My wheels roll right through a stop sign, and out here it's known as a California Roll. the beauty and the feel of the night. As I celebrate the eve, cause it's a part of me, and I, a part of it. And as I sit under the sky and realize something this powerful is just too hard to describe. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. There's just something about tonight, man. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. And maybe it's the lights. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. There's just something about tonight, man. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. A night in the life. It's something that I can't quite put my finger on. All I know is that it's been with me ever since I was young. And as far as I remember, I'd be in my bed, looking out my window, staring at the moon, trying to catch a glimpse of comfort that the moonlight provided. So maybe it's the romance that heightens my emotions at night. It just might be the Spanish blood in me from my grandparents. So now I see why I fell in love with the night. And every time I hear crickets, it relaxes my pulse. In return, calms my nerves until I see the big picture. Which puts the day into perspective as intended. And I consider it a blessing to be part of the night under the sky. From sunset to sunrise is the peak of my day. Cause ever since day one, it's always proved its loyalty. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. There's just something about tonight, man. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. And maybe it's the light. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. There's just something about tonight, man. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. A night in the life. So here's something that I found just a few years prior to what I'm writing at this very time and place. The evening's my domain. So when it's dark outside, I found my way inside my own mind. I'm following my heart just to find out where it's taking me. I found all the pieces, started putting them together, and eventually watched how they arranged until they made less of a mess and more sense, as seen through my eyes and as written by my soul. A night in the life of El Uno was a story untold without a pencil and a sheet of line paper. That's right. But where in the world do I get the inspiration, you ask? Oh, now that's easy. Seek and I shall find in the night with just a little bit of patience. So here now is where my utopia is held, and the whole thing begins when the sun drops. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. There's just something about tonight, man. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. And maybe it's the light. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. There's just something about tonight, man. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. It's a night in the life. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. There's just something about tonight, man. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. Oh, and maybe it's the light. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. There's just something about tonight. There's something about tonight that makes me feel right. Cause it's a night in the life. That's right. It's a night in the life. A night in the magic. Cause there's just something about it that gets to me every time the sun sets. It's a night in the life with El Uno.
From the past to the present day, I found there's only one place to go when it's cold outside. The only place I know. Now I've searched this whole city up and down, and had memories I've kept from the start. But my testimony falls under oath, and so I swear that there's no place like home but in my heart. Now I've searched this whole city up and down, and had memories I've kept from the start. But my testimony falls under oath, and so I swear that there's no place like home but in my heart. In the fall of '93, I found myself on the other part of town, the marking of a brand new scene. September rolled around. After August, I was still in the mode of just watching from the inside out. Without looking back, I began. I felt I came of age and couldn't wait until I saw the next page. Couldn't wait. Turning every day, and for the next 4 years, every chapter had me broken. I can see it all now in slow motion. And every home with welcome mats had a front door to open, but unfortunately, these were all locked. And at the time I wanted the key, but now I think, why pawn? It's a shame because a number of these people I still love, so I hold them in my memory. But still there's no loss, because it only helped me found that I learned to get to know myself better and sound. Now I've searched this whole city up and down, and had memories I've kept from the start. But my testimony falls under oath, and so I swear that there's no place like home but in my heart. Now I've searched this whole city up and down, and had memories I've kept from the start. But my testimony falls under oath, and so I swear that there's no place like home but in my heart. Here it is, just about 11 years past the prime of my youth. But it passed so fast, man, what happened? The childhood innocence I took for granted, and spent all my time catching up with older sis and my cousins. And after all these years, still remember crystal clear, not specifics but the aura and the feeling. It's something you can't erase, because as far as I'm concerned, it's all written in stone, with me as the main character in the place I call home. The only place to go when I'm lost, but soon I'll be retrieved in the midst of a flashback, cause the memories I see provided hope. The experience of then comforts me now, with just enough warmth when I'm cold. And so I know deep down that my heart will always follow, even when I find life too hard to swallow. Now I've searched this whole city up and down, and had memories I've kept from the start. But my testimony falls under oath, and so I swear that there's no place like home but in my heart. Now I've searched this whole city up and down, and had memories I've kept from the start. But my testimony falls under oath, and so I swear that there's no place like home but in my heart. Now I've searched this whole city up and down, and had memories I've kept from the start. But my testimony falls under oath, and so I swear that there's no place like home but in my heart. Now I've searched this whole city up and down, and had memories I've kept from the start. But my testimony falls under oath, and so I swear that there's no place like home but in my heart. And no matter where I go, anywhere, it never fails. With memories dating all the way back to my childhood, this is my testimony. Approach the final scene in the stage of the 7-8 saga. Open curtains now expose the streets, and every step I take reminds me of the pain. But at the same time, I can't avoid the joy the night brings to me when it's here. And in the new year, I count the blessings of the present and the past with faith. I inhale the very life I live every day as I anticipate what's ahead to come. The night gives way for the experience. The emotions I felt will follow through. And so as long as the eve will always fall like it should, you can be sure the chronicles continue. The night gives way for the experience. I felt will follow through. And so as long as the evil always fall